So, what I'd like to share with you are what I call barrier habits. And I encourage you to write these down. There will be a quiz. Uh, these are some ways in which we hold ourselves back from being fully uh, engaged in developing our own self development. So, first off, is a fixed mindset. And this is definitely a habit. Now, that fixed mindset can come across as arrogance, as a couple of you have brought up. I know that for myself, about 25 years ago, I was interviewing for what I thought was a job. It was actually a learning opportunity, but it was a learning opportunity that I was going to get paid for. So I was thinking of it as a job. And, in the interview, like you do in interviews, I was trying to tell them that I am up for this. I am ready to perform. I'm going to be great at this. And the interviewer just kind of sat back and she said, well, I think you sound a little cocky. And that was a little shocking to me because most people don't describe me as cocky because I veer more towards on the lack of confidence side. But what she was saying was that it sounded like I was not really open to learning, not really open to making mistakes and learning from those mistakes, but just had to prove that I'm good. I'm good the way I am, and you don't have to teach me anything else. So if you have that kind of arrogance, that's characteristic of a fixed mindset. Another way of seeing a fixed mindset is the defensiveness that I think maybe Brandy brought up earlier. So if you get feedback from somebody about something that you've done or what the way something came across and you feel some defensiveness in response to that, that defensiveness is a signal. It's a flag that maybe in this particular zone you're not as open to learning. Now, fixed mindset varies. Even within a person, you might have a learning mindset with regard to some things and a fixed mindset with regard to other things. And any place where you have more of a fixed mindset, it's going to be more difficult for you to be engaged in self development. So just look for that flag of defensiveness that tells you this is a place where I'm probably have more of a fixed mindset and you can open yourself to learning more there. Another way that the fixed mindset comes across is with pessimism about whether or not people can change. So if you find yourself believing that people are really kind of who they are, who they're going to be, they don't really change, then it's probably going to be more difficult for you to continually engage in learning or to offer feedback to others. So if you feel like you can't change, it's going to be difficult for you to keep learning. And then finally, I think maybe Laura brought up fear earlier. If you have fear of failure, that is also going to contribute to a fixed mindset. So if you believe if I fail, then I suck, then you're not going to try. And if you're not willing to try, then you're not going to be able to engage in those stretch opportunities to learn from your own mistakes. So all of that rolls up into that first barrier habit of having a fixed mindset. The second barrier habit is what I call cluelessness. So basically, it's just not knowing what to develop or what to do in order to develop. Or it might show up as not knowing what's really needed in order to get to the next level or in order for you to be able to do what it is you want to do. So, just kind of basic cluelessness, not knowing what it is that you should do or how. And then finally, the third barrier habit is waiting. So I call these the three big weights that hold people back. First, there's waiting for ample time. So if you're waiting for enough time to learn something, then you're not going to be engaged in development there. So Let me ask you, what do you think is the problem with waiting for ample time?
You'll never have it.
You'll never have it. Thank you. That's very succinct, Sam. Thank you. All right. So the second wait is waiting for ample comfort. So if you are engaged in learning, there's some risk involved there. It's not comfortable. You have the opportunity to fail. You have the opportunity uh, to be seen as incomplete, as not really having everything locked down and under control. What do you think is wrong with waiting for ample comfort?
This is Karen.
If
For me, it's how do you know what comfort feels like or not going to feel like if you don't give it a try?
Okay, all right.
Frankly, Joe's going to eat, 90.
Yeah, the world will pass you by if you don't give it a try.
And you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, or you might miss out on something. Thank you, Josh and Brandy. Yeah, right. So we're not going to get comfort and learning at the same time. They just are not compatible. All right. And then the third wait is waiting for organizational recognition or the blessing from the organization, which is what I was talking about earlier. It's that experience of having the organization confer upon you the mantle of development. This was definitely something that was a big part of what was holding me back several years ago. I was waiting for that organizational recognition. And for me, it was kind of combined with arrogance. If my organization didn't arrange it, then I figured it can't really be worthwhile. I was really trusting somebody else to make a decision about what was right for me, even though my organization didn't know anything about my future or what I was actually going to need or what was really the next step for me. So that was me. What do you think is wrong with waiting for organizational recognition or that blessing?
After a certain time, and if you don't see that happen, you may know that it may not happen at all.
Right. So for some people, it's going to be a very long wait. You might be waiting forever. Yeah. Thank you, Eleanor. Julie says they may not be able to provide you with the development that you're seeking. Absolutely true, especially as budgets get cut and every HR department that I know of, they're stretched so thin. It's about all they can do to keep up with what they're committed to doing already, much less to be able to offer all of the development that everybody needs. All right, so in summary, we've got three barrier habits: fixed mindset, cluelessness, and waiting for time, comfort, or organizational recognition.